Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. You may have occasion to consider the idea of lending money to an estranged adult child. Maybe he wants to buy a home or go to graduate school or suddenly finds himself needing repairs on his only means of transportation. Or she loses her job and can't afford the rent anymore, or she's thinking of getting rid of her health insurance because the premiums are too expensive. Whatever the situation, as a parent, you may find yourself really wanting to help, but also wanting to set boundaries around the extent of that help. Or needing to provide a loan rather than a gift because of limited resources. Lending money to adult children is a subject that should probably be carefully considered at any time, but when your relationship with them is troubled, the question of lending money becomes more complicated. First, let's talk about the difference between lending and giving. When you lend your child money, you become his creditor. If he defaults on the terms of the loan, it becomes necessary for you to take action if you don't want to feel taken advantage of. As you can easily imagine, taking necessary action as a lender can make estrangement worse. For that reason, I don't advocate loaning money to adult children. If you can't afford to give money as a gift, it may be better for the relationship in the long run not to give money at all. Don't become your child's creditor if you can possibly help it. As a parent, that's not a role you need to take on. But what if you already loaned your child money and he hasn't paid you back and now he's estranged? I run into parents regularly whose estranged adult children owe them money and they aren't making payments or even talking about paying off the debt. It's as though the child has unilaterally decided that the debt no longer exists. Well, as a lender, you're naturally going to be upset about that. It's not fair and it's not right. That is money that is owed to you. And as a parent, you may be thinking, I can't let my child act like that. What kind of a parent would I be if I let her get away with not paying off her debts? So, both as a creditor and as a parent committed to teaching your child right from wrong, you have forces acting on you to do something about your child's unpaid debt. It's a moral issue that your brain won't let you let go of. But at the same time, as a thinking person, you realize that trying to shake down your already unhappy and estranged adult child for the money she owes you will not improve your relationship, and it will likely act against any efforts you're making to reconcile. It's a real dilemma. And like all dilemmas, there's no obvious good answer here. It may be that the best you can do is to recognize that somewhere along the line, you made a decision to lend rather than give money to your child. Presumably, that wasn't something that was done to you against your will. So you're both where you are today because of that decision. And it may have been the best-looking decision at the time or the only one that you felt you could make. So try to let go of any blame and just accept that the two of you are in the current circumstances together. Your child owes you money, and it's probably safe to assume that neither of you is happy about it. The simplest path to peace of mind may be for you to turn that loan into a gift in your mind and think of it as just one of the many, many gifts you've given to your child since he came into your life. I'm not going to make the assertion that that's the right thing to do, only that it is a choice you can make if you're having trouble finding peace with the situation as it is. Pretend to yourself that the money was a gift, or turn it into a gift that you never expect to see again. I don't recommend contacting your child to let him know he's off the hook, because unfortunately, during an estrangement, any act of generosity on your part may be interpreted as a bribe, or worse, a guilt trip. So if you do decide to turn the loan into a gift, do it for yourself, for your own peace of mind, but don't tell your estranged adult child unless he brings it up first. From here on out, if you'd like to help your child financially and you can afford it, offer them a gift that doesn't compromise your financial well-being. Be in a position where you can say goodbye to that money forever and not leave yourself short. When you give an estranged adult child money, in many cases, it's better not to get involved in what the money is for. I am very much aware that that's not the norm, that it is typical for parents who give their adult children money to know what it's for. But your relationship with your child is not typical, at least not at the moment. How you give money during estrangement is just as important, if not more so, than whether you give. Between parents and children, it's never just about the money. Monetary gifts can be used to convey what you want for your relationship going forward. Use these gifts to show your child, for example, that you trust him, that you feel comfortable letting him take the reins of his own future, and that you're not interested in controlling or influencing decisions that are his to make. What you convey when you give without strings attached can be more valuable than the money that you're giving. If you do want to have some control over your adult child's finances, perhaps because she seems to need guidance, be honest with yourself about that and think twice before giving her money. Because if your child values independence and you insist on participating in her financial decisions, that could be a continuing source of conflict and tension. For various reasons, you may not be willing or able to give at all financially. And how you decline to give, again, is just as important as whether you decline. If your child asks for financial help that you're not able to give, tell him you wish you could help in that way, if that's true. And if appropriate, let him know what you can do to help, besides giving money. Don't let him debate your reasons for not giving or for giving less than he asked for. Just say, "I'm sorry, I'm not able to give in that way. Here's what I can do." And let that be the whole story. You don't have to justify your financial decisions to your child. You can be kind, but also be firm about your personal boundaries. Remember, there is much more to you as a parent than the money you give or don't give. Try not to engage in constant discussions about money with your child or children. Ideally, your relationship is not about money. Obviously, do have the financial conversations that are necessary, but if the ongoing theme of the relationship seems to be how much money you're giving or not giving to your child, the relationship has strayed too far afield. Giving someone money doesn't connect them to you emotionally. It doesn't provide a firm foundation for a relationship at all. If the money stops flowing, then whatever is left between you becomes exposed as either a firm foundation or a shaky one. To strengthen the foundation of your relationship, help your child see you as a source of not only financial resources, but emotional ones. Offer your child a listening ear, an open mind, and a loving heart. Those are worth more than millions to most of us. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, The Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult child or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.